Sometimes you can't carnivore harder, and that sometimes it isn't all about me, push, 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 push. You can't push something that your body doesn't want and can't have. And so I've taken a step back.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our videos. If you'd like to support us some more, you can explore our homemade natural skincare products at purelytallow.com. Thank you so much for supporting my small business.
Hello, welcome to Carnivore Chit Chat with Adrian and Serena. Today,
Hey
we're just
guys.
going to chat. We're going to
Yep.
give you an update about what's going on in our lives. We're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves and just have some fun. So, hi,
That's
Serena.
right. Hey, and this is for reference. This is going to go on both of our channels. So it's just going to be a conversation.
Yeah, so I thought we'd start maybe with some rapid fire questions and see how fast you can answer them.
You know I can't answer them very fast, but go ahead.
What's your favorite place to visit?
Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, that area, like Park City, the Salt Lake City area is my absolute favorite place.
I've never been. I'll have to go. And you'll have to
What's
go to
your
my
favorite?
favorite place, Terlingua, Texas. It's a ghost town and
I've
it's
never
so
heard of it.
beautiful. It's
Really?
medicinal. You can see all the
Nice.
stars. Hey, are you
Yeah.
a pumpkin spice or a peppermint?
I like the idea of pumpkin spice, but it's not my favorite. I would go with peppermint probably any day of the week. If both of those are on the menu, I'm probably going with peppermint. What about you?
Peppermint kind of makes me throw up. I don't know. I don't even like peppermint toothpaste.
Really? Well, for me, I have a newfound love for peppermint because I couldn't do anything peppermint for like 2.5 years because of that post sickness smell and taste issue I had. So I have a newfound love for peppermint, but I've always liked peppermint. So I would definitely take a peppermint something.
I love the pumpkin spice, the cinnamons, those fall spices. I
Yeah.
love those.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like them,
What
but it's not my favorite.
what is your favorite family tradition?
My favorite family tradition is probably the part on Christmas Eve day where I pretend they're not going to get a box to open that night and that it's not going to be pajamas. That's probably that's probably my favorite. And my kids are all three girls are about to have birthdays in like the next month and a half. So my kids are basically 24, 24, 22, 18, and 16. And we still every year pretend I'm not going to give them a box and that it's not going to be pajamas. What about you?
I don't know if this is a tradition, but I just love when my husband gets projects and we all travel with him to some podunk town in America and find what fun
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
awesome.
that. I mean, it'll be like nowhere land and people will be like, "Oh, that's the worst town," and we'll have the best time.
That's awesome. Love it.
What is something people don't know about you? We know you were a
Okay,
disc jockey.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I get stressed out really easily. Like there are days where I have two things on the calendar, like, and they can be small things even. And I wake up before the sun comes up feeling so anxious I can't breathe. And I've literally got two things on the calendar, or it's things that I know from experience are going to be done, within an hour from when I start or when we start them. And it can just mess up my whole day, which is so silly. I know I shouldn't worry like that, but I do. And
Mm.
I have faith, I know everything is going to be okay, but I still get really stressed out very easily. What about you? What's something people don't know?
I love the idea of being a homeschool mom just because it is stressful to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get everybody to school by 8 a.m. And my kids last year went to 3 different schools with 3 different pickup times. So
That's
that's
hard.
just school alone is stressful.
Oh, I get
Something,
it.
last time we recorded, I said I played the clarinet and I was a pretty decent player. But today, I'm going to go with I was in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in high school, and I sang in the chorus. Oh no! Hi.
Hi.
Okay, let's see here. What else do we got? And what is your favorite show?
My favorite show, you and I have a shared love for Blacklist. So I'm not going to use that one, although I do love it. And we're 2 seasons behind. So I love that one. And I have two, so I can't just say one. These are very friendly, family friendly shows. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. But Monk is one of my favorites, really family friendly, no bad language or anything like that. I mean, it's about crimes, but they're never that bad. And then Sue Thomas FBI is a show I think everybody should know about. The I is spelled EYE. It's about a deaf FBI agent. It's based on a true story. She had a seeing eye dog that went with her to work, and it's all about the quirkiness of their office while they're solving crimes. It's almost completely clean. Like in one, we saw a dead body, but we only saw the legs sticking out from behind a fence. Like
Ooh.
really good. We watched it online And when we finished it, we were just so in love with it that we bought the entire box set because we never wanted to like not be able to watch that show. So if you're looking for something like really family friendly, that's a great one. That and Monk are both really good. And then if you don't really care about the bad stuff or you're willing to fast forward through it like I do, Outlander is amazing. So if you can get into a really long story, Outlander's great. The books are great. There's lots of stuff in it though that like I have to watch it with VidAngel or I have to fast forward through a lot of stuff, like skip it because some of the stuff is pretty bad. But the storyline I just am in love with. What's your favorite besides Blacklist?
Until I had met you, people, this is something people don't know. Until I had met you, I hadn't watched TV in 3.5 years.
I
And you
know.
were like, Adrian, you need to take a break, a
You
mental
need to watch
break, a
TV.
physical break. Just sit down and enjoy. And so,
Yes.
since you said that, I was like, that does sound really lovely. So,
Mhm.
Blacklist is a big one. And then my number two is something that nobody's heard of called RV Unplugged. And
Oh yeah.
right now it's on YouTube, but I think in the future it's going to get picked up. And the reason I love it is because it's like three guys came up with this while camping and probably drinking. I don't know. And they decided to make this like survivor like show. And you're in an RV and there's all these adventures, and the people are just amazing. And it's so much fun. So, RV
That's awesome.
Unplugged, check it out, subscribe, binge watch it all.
Yeah, the
Okay.
thing
I think
about real quick, the thing about watching TV, the reason I was like, you got to watch something is because like for me, and not everybody's like this, maybe people want to settle down with a good book in the evening, but for me with my family, that's what we do in the evening is we watch something. Like we pick one of those shows or we find a movie, which is dreadfully hard to do, to find a good clean movie we can all watch. It's like that's the worst. We spend 3 hours and then we just go to bed because we give up on finding something that we can watch. So we like to find those shows that we can just watch one, every night or every other night. But I just find it very relaxing. I start looking forward to it like right around this time during the day, like 2 more hours, 3 more hours till I get to put my pajamas on. And I just love it. It's just very relaxing for me. That's how I wind down at night.
I love it, and it's
I love
kinda nostalgic because that's what we all did growing up,
it.
was
Yeah,
waited for that TV show to come on
that's right.
and watched it with our family,
That's right. And
and
I love it. It's super fun for me.
I love it too. Okay, so what meetups do you have coming up?
And so I don't have much for the rest of this year. I actually, and that will make just two this year, I think, because I went to meet stock, which I think we're going to talk about. And the only other one that I'm doing is Charlotte towards the end of September, like the last week in September. That's going to be awesome. Audra's going to be there. Kelly, Dr. Kiltz, Keto Mary is going to be there. Several people are going to be there. And I think that'll be a really fun one. It's just at a park, so there's no cost. And we just get to go hang out. There's going to be a food truck there. You can bring your own meat. But I'm really excited. It's about 3 hours from my house. And so we get to go. I'm giving away lotions to everybody there, little jars of lotion to everybody that's there. It's just going to be a really fun afternoon. And so I'm really excited about that because I don't get to do a lot of them. We're busy. There are a couple of other ones like Keto Palooza I really wanted to go to, but we're going to be on vacation that week. And then my girls have volleyball like every week, several times a week until mid-October, when we'll switch to basketball from a Saturday to a Monday. We go from volleyball to basketball, and then that's 4 days a week until March. And so we're just really busy, and that's about all I can squeeze in. I'm not really willing to miss games and stuff. It's just not who I am. So that's really important to me. I have a senior this year, and then in 2 years I'll have another senior, and I just don't want to miss anything. So that's the only one that I have left coming up. You have several things, don't you?
I am going to Keto Palooza, and then I'm going on the 2KK cruise, and if people haven't heard of those are just so lovely. And now Dr. Lisa Wiedemann has a Carnivore cruise that's huge.
Yeah.
Last time I checked with her, 80 people were signed up, and that was a few weeks ago. The meetup you're going to, I just interviewed Audra, and she has like a dozen items or more in the swag bags for everybody. Plus, there's a whole bunch of raffle, and there's over 150 people committed to going.
That's
So
awesome.
that one that you're going to is going to be epic.
It's going to be fun.
And
It's going to
then
be a good one.
next year, I'd like to go to Hack Your Health. I haven't signed. Well, I did sign up. Yeah. Hack Your Health. And then I'm going on Alaska, low carb Alaska cruise. And then I'm praying I can make it to Meat Stock because everybody I love is going to be there. Everybody. It's huge.
Meat
Meat
stock is
Stock's
going
going
to
to
be,
be epic next year.
it is. It's going to be
Oh,
great.
and 100%. Have you ever been to a Karen Miles meetup? She does one in LaSalle and she does one in Naperville and she'll do one anywhere else. And
Yes.
it's like the sweetest thing you've ever been to. Everybody is just so warm and awesome, and she's such a good organizer, and she puts so
Yeah.
much love into it, and I love those meetups just like North Carolina where it doesn't even cost you anything. You can bring your own food,
Yeah.
but you get
Right.
to be around each other, and you
Mhm.
just get those good hormones flowing. It's
Mhm.
medicinal.
Yeah.
Our friend Scott said that after Hack Your Health, pretty much that kickstarted him, all those good
Yeah.
hormones kickstarted him into gaining the weight that he needed to.
Yes.
And so he's healing through meetups.
Yeah, it's
The best
absolutely true
body
because
hack.
yeah, you get to be with other like-minded people because I feel like what we are doing is so different. It really does set us apart from everybody just in our normal life. So it's so nice to be able to go like there were several times at meat stock that I would go to get something and I would instinctively turn around to say to somebody, is this gluten-free? Or like it just instinctively, I've been asking that for so many years because I haven't eaten gluten in probably 13 years, 12 or 13 years. And so it's just that's a hard like it was nice to be at a place where you don't have to ask what's in the food, where you're hanging out with other people, talking about meat, talking about healing. Like it just kind of fills you up. So if you ever have the opportunity to go to a meetup or something like Meat Stock, it's just an amazing thing to do. Also, I think Karen Miles is coming to Charlotte too. So that's fun because I actually haven't met Karen yet, just like I haven't met you. But I love Karen, and I actually put all of her meetups when she talks about a meetup that she's going to be at. I actually put them on my calendar even if I'm not even sure that I could go, like I still put it on my calendar just in
In
case
case the stars align.
just in case the stars align, I'll know when it is, just in case.
I do the same thing. And another one I'd really like to make it to is a Carrie Mann meetup because he's in
Okay.
Wisconsin and I'm,
Yeah.
right there. I mean, it's like 7 hours away, but that's kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Maybe you guys could plan one together, like in the middle.
that'd be awesome. I've only met him one time, Hack Your
Yeah.
Health. I'd love to go to his meetup and support
Yeah.
Healing Humanity, that documentary they're making.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I would love to go to one of his meetups too. But again, so far, volleyball, basketball, probably not going to happen for a while for me.
So, how's your stress level with school coming up? And what's going on with your goals and your routine and all that?
Everything is like mass chaos this week. We started on Monday, but my oldest one that I'm still doing school with is 17, and she could have graduated last year, but because we homeschool, we can do what's called a second senior year or a two-time senior. And so she's doing some dual enrollment this year, taking a couple of classes at the local community college, and so that's different. So she's leaving a couple of days a week, and that'll just be me and my youngest, who's almost 16, doing stuff here at home until she gets home. And then we'll do our stuff together after that. We do a lot of unit studies. So some of our subjects like economics and history, those are done together in a group. And so that, takes the load off a little bit. I don't have to teach things twice. And so this year is a little bit different. We're still figuring it out. This is just Wednesday. So it's only been 3 days and we start slow. So like 2 subjects a day this week, next week, maybe 4. And then the following week, we'll, try to fit our full load in. But homeschooling is different. It's a little bit more relaxed. We try to get our stuff done, but it's not like conventional school by any means. And so we're just kind of still figuring it out this year since we just started.
In our summer, we are so relaxed. We drive all over the country with my husband and we see family members really and we sleep how we need to sleep. And so
Yes.
it's really tough now that starting tomorrow I have to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. But the good news for my carnivore lifestyle is that that creates that routine and we're out of the house. It's so
Mhm.
tough to get to the gym when you can't get out of the house until noon.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be great to have that routine of like, we're out of the house at 8. So
Hmm.
let's just head to
Yeah,
the gym now.
that's
And
right.
then it's great too when you have that routine for tracking, for keeping
Yeah.
your meals more consistent, for meal
Mhm.
timing. So I'm really looking forward to working on these summer pounds.
And
The
we're really
summer
relaxed.
vacation slide.
I know. And we know people that do school like off and on all summer, like they homeschool and they just try to stick with their routine. And I'm like, I want to rest in the summer. Like I feel like everybody deserves a break. So if you homeschool year round, good for you. But I feel like we deserve, like not deserve, but like we need a break. We need to not feel that pressure. It's enough pressure. Homeschooling is hard. Life is hard. It's enough pressure just every day to get stuff done and be alive and keep people alive and try to keep the house clean. It's enough pressure. And so I feel like as a homeschooling mom, as a stay-at-home mom, I really like to have that downtime. So Christmas, we take almost the entire month of December off straight through until the second week in January. So maybe like the first week in December to the end of the first week in January. Like I feel like we need those breaks. We need to have that to look forward to. And so we don't do that. We don't stick to any kind of routine in the summer, which was harder when they were little because they don't know when to go to bed. They don't know when to wake up. I realize that that's hard and that it's better for us, but I need it for my mind to be able to sleep in sometimes, in the summertime, to be able to go to bed a little bit late and not be stressed because my alarm is set for 6 a.m. And that's just me. And we try to get the sleep we need, like you said, and not be stressed out in the summertime. That's, the summertime is fun and relaxing. And so I think that's important while they still can, because in a couple of years, they're going to have full-time jobs. And, I'm going to feel like I wish they had been little for a little bit longer. I wish I had let them, they don't have jobs yet. They help me with lotions, but they don't have jobs yet. Like, I just want them to be able to relax, enjoy their sport, get their school done, sit around some and not be, maybe that makes them soft. Maybe that makes me soft or lazy. I don't know. But I just feel like this is the only opportunity they have. Once they become adults and move on, that's it. That's it. You can't come back. You can't go back to not doing those things and not being stressed out about the house and money and, bills and things like that. So I really like to just let them do their thing while they're younger. And once they graduate from high school, then they can get jobs and, be like, more hardcore. I feel like it's good to let them just be, that's just my opinion. And it might be unpopular. A lot of people feel differently. I know so many people whose kids are graduating from high school with a 2-year college degree at the same time. And I'm just like, that we're rushing them into being adults. And I know that's just me, maybe, but I just don't think there's a rush to it because I think that's it. Like, let them just do this for now. That's just my opinion.
Every time that I'm having a bad day, which used to be a lot before starting bioidentical progesterone, I would have cringy days constantly. Like my cycle was 21 days and 20 of those were really cringy. And so I was frustrated all the time. And I would
Yeah.
message you or Marco you, and you would Marco me back what you would give to have just one day, the worst day while they were little, and just give them a hug, those little bodies. And you just remind me they're only little so much. And so some of the things that I used to think, because I was a really big athlete in high school. Were you?
I was a cheerleader. So no.
I was in 3 different sports. I lettered in my sports. I was in band and choir, and I was in all the things. And so I thought that's what I'm going to ram into my kids too. And although I will totally support them if they fall in love with that kind of stuff, I think some of these home experiences are just as important, maybe even more important. And so I love that summertime too, to just
Mhm.
bask in their littleness
Yeah. What I
and
told you
have
that
those
day.
experiences together.
Yeah. And what I told you that day was just that it's so cliche that the days are long, but the years are short. And I'm going to cry again. Every time we talk about it, I cry.
Sometimes we cry together.
I
I
know.
swear I feel like I've met you.
I know. But the thing for me is what I wouldn't give to go back to the worst day we ever had when all 5 of us were crying, like whether they were, even if they were sick or like whatever, even the worst day we had, what I wouldn't give, I would do it differently. That worst day, I would do it differently. I would stop whatever I was doing, whatever was causing the stress, whatever was making everybody cry. I would stop and I would put on a fun movie and I would make popcorn and I would just sit with them, because I was probably busy with one on my hip who was crying and yelling at the other ones, or they were fighting with each other, when they were little or whatever. But what I wouldn't give for that one day back. And I know I can't have that, but I miss them. I miss them for sure.
Well, today, Keto Chow released its fall flavor, which is banana bread.
Oh,
And so I mixed banana bread keto chow with the Courtney Luna bread to make, because she always explained it. And I think she's pretty right that the texture was that of banana bread. So why not add more protein and get
yes.
that flavor in there? And the kids can love something that's carnivore, nutritious, and still get those fall feel goods. So I'm really
Love
excited to see how it turned out. It looks
it. Yum.
gorgeous.
Let me know. Let me know how it is.
Yeah. So, okay. How is the tallow business going? I know I recently just discovered you were telling me. Well, first of all, I was just using the unscented tallow to clean the makeup off my eyes. And before that, I was using Maybelline because I use waterproof mascara and it's really difficult to find something to pull it off.
Yes.
And so I was using that toxic 40 ingredient Maybelline. And then one day I was like, why don't I try this unscented tallow? And it was glorious. It was
Hmm.
absolutely glorious. It took it all off my eyes. Instead of being chemicaled, they were nourished. And then you and I had the conversation about how the facial cleanser can actually remove the makeup. So then I used that, and now my life has changed.
So there's a video on the website where you order the facial oil cleanser, up at the top where the pictures are, there's actually a video of how to use it there, because people were confused. People were wetting their faces or they were wetting their hands before they put it on. And everything has to be dry when you use it, because oil and water don't mix. And so it has beef tallow, a little bit of castor oil, wild camel hump fat, and emu oil in it. And you get
And frankincense.
and frankincense and lavender. Yeah, if you get the scented one, the unscented one doesn't have the essential oils in it, but you need like this much, like just a little bit, like a dime size, maybe even a little bit less. And you massage it all over your face with your face dry. Do it over top of your eyes, rub it just a little bit gently. And then you want a warm, wet washcloth. You want to squeeze out the excess water and rest it on your face for 10, 15, 20 seconds, however long you're patient enough to let it rest. It'll open up your pores. And then you just wipe with the washcloth. And then I like to rinse it again. I like to do that 3 times with the washcloth. And your face will be cleaner than it's ever been. I wash my face in the shower in the morning just because it's easier. But other than that, like at night, I haven't washed my face in probably 10 months since I started like messing with the facial oil cleanser to see how it would work. I heard about it and other people were asking me if I was going to make that. So I started kind of experimenting with it. And this was the best mixture of products for me. I love the wild camel hump fat. It's good for so many things. And the emu oil just kind of thins it out a little bit, makes it like creamy instead of like, it's still greasy because it is made with fat, but it's different than if you just used regular beef tallow, not whipped on its own. I just love the texture of it. It just feels so good to get all that clean. And yeah, you just wipe your eyes after it's on there and it takes everything off. So that's my favorite product. I have 2 favorite products, that one and the nighttime mask, which you just put on like lotion at night. And then you just, whenever you do your makeup or whatever in the morning, whatever you shower or whatever, you just wash your face. It's not really like a wipe off or a wash off kind of mask. It's just a really good lotion that you put on overnight. And it works really great too. I love that one. It has the same products in it, except it doesn't have the castor oil in it. And then one of them has Roman chamomile, lavender, and frankincense, I think, because the Roman chamomile is really good for your skin. So it's great that sits on it overnight. But those are my 2 favorite things right now that we have.
I love Stacy Keto and Court, and she's obsessed with frankincense. And I think she might even have like frankincense highlights
Oh,
on her Instagram because of all of the healing and the anti-aging benefits of
yeah.
frankincense.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm really sensitive, and it's not causing me any reactions at all. In fact, I feel glorious.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love some of the essential oils. I think they can do some amazing things as far as removing toxins from your life for cleaning and for medicinal purposes. So I love essential oils, and I think there is definitely a place in medicine for plants.
Now, something I've been meaning to ask you, and I know you've talked about this before, but we are all obsessed with your hair. What do you do to clean it again? Because you're not using grocery store shampoo.
No, I actually don't wash it. I quit washing it in April of 2023. And I just like once a week when it starts to feel like if it starts to just not be as, if it starts to droop a little bit too much, or I just start to feel like it needs to be washed, I just use either apple cider vinegar or white vinegar in the shower. I put it like in a travel container that you can like squeeze so it goes everywhere. And I let it sit just for a few seconds and I rinse it out. And that gets all the impurities out of my hair. That's all you need. You do not need soap or shampoo for your hair. I mean, I think that even if you find a clean one, it's really hard to find a really good clean one because they all have so much garbage in them. We hear no sulfates, no parabens, but there's still all kinds of, it is like 50 ingredients in it. If you want soap, use like the most natural soap you can find. It doesn't have to be shampoo. It doesn't have to be specific for your hair. You just need to get your hair clean. But if that's what you want, is to get your hair clean, vinegar does just as good a job. I rub my hair, I scrub my scalp with my fingers, and just like you do when you wash your hair, and then just rinse it out. And vinegar doesn't have a scent once it dries, so you don't have to worry about the smell, and you don't have to worry about the toxins.
Wow. And do you need to use conditioner?
Nope. No, the vinegar actually makes it feel like you put conditioner in your hair because vinegar can be used like as a water softener, I guess. Like you can pour it in your washing machine and use it as a fabric softener. It just softens things and cleans things. It kills 99.9% of germs, just like Clorox does, without the toxicness. And so we use a lot of vinegar in our house for cleaning and now for my hair. And my hair has never been this curly. I actually just put a video up recently where I talked about it and put pictures of my hair from 3 years ago, not long after I started Carnivore. And I was still washing it then. And it did get a little bit better on carnivore, but I had to cut it all off because of post sickness stuff where it like just became dead. It felt like hay, like my hair just did not feel like hair anymore.
Did it
So I cut
stick
it all off.
together? Because
No, it
post
kind of,
that bad
yeah,
thing, mine would stick together and I could not even brush it.
really. I don't know
Yeah.
that it was sticking together. It just was very light and airy. Like you could always see through it. It wasn't at all like it is now. So part of, I like my hair for the first time ever. I've never liked my hair. I've always complained about my hair, but I like it for the first time ever. Part of that is carnivore, and part of that is that I don't use toxic ingredients on it anymore. So if you're on the fence about that and you're looking for a natural shampoo, you're always like beating yourself up that you can't find a natural shampoo. You don't need it. You just need some vinegar.
That's funny because the way you use vinegar is how I use peroxide. We went and bought, there's a family owned peroxide company. I think it's called bulkperoxide.com. And you can get just gallons of peroxide. And that's what we clean with now.
Wow, that's great. I didn't know that about peroxide.
You can, and if you buy it at Walgreens, it's kind of toxic. They put preservatives in it and it's not food grade. But
Hmm.
this bulkperoxide.com, you can get food grade peroxide and you can wait too. They have different sales and stuff like that. And you can, and as a SIRS patient, I can't have all those chemicals around.
Right.
And so they say that peroxide, just like vinegar, kills tons and tons of stuff without
Yeah.
the off gassing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
and I will say, like so much of our autoimmune issues, our health issues, our infertility issues in America, so much of that is caused by toxins. And so anywhere you can eliminate some toxins from your life and reduce your toxic load, that's really going to help you and help you to feel better and maybe even help you get over some of the issues that you're dealing with, whether it's stress and anxiety or autoimmune diseases or just pain in your body, even headaches, migraines, really bad PMS. If your kids have ADHD, it can even make a difference there. Even for autistic children, people have seen a difference when they eliminate some of those toxins from their lives.
Absolutely. I've heard a lot of those things in my world. All of us SIRS people think that everybody has SIRS, and I am
Yeah.
in that category. I do believe everybody has SIRS.
Mhm.
And a lot of those things are all brain inflammation. But then it's like, well, why did it get inflamed and how do we uninflame you? And that can
Right.
be different for people. So I don't mean everybody has the same thing, but we all have inflammation. And have you heard of this? I can't say it exactly right, but there was this study where they fed animals, and I want to say it was mice, but it might have been rabbits or something. They fed them a not first they fed them a standard diet. They went just fine. Then fed them a different diet, and it took like 3 generations to get rid of the damage that had been done by the toxic diet in one generation. Have you heard of
Yes.
this?
Yes, I think I saw that and I feel like it was mice. I do think that I saw that and it's very interesting that the damage that we're doing to our bodies now, oops, sorry, the damage that we're doing to our bodies now is we're doing that same damage to our future children and to their children even. So next time you go to use Clorox wipes or one of those terrible toxic cleaners on your floor and then you let your baby with bare feet run across it, remember that that toxic cleaner that is on your floor is in their bloodstream within 30 seconds. That might make you think twice about the products that you're using. Next time you go to feed them a Pop Tart, think about the fact that you're damaging them to the point, and this is not fear mongering. This is truth here. You are damaging them. You are damaging the cells in your body, in their body, to the point where it could affect their grandkids. That's pretty crazy. But our cells, we only get one body and we're supposed to take care of it. And so anything we can do. The other thing is those Clorox wipes that people use like to clean tables. They use those like in lunchrooms. And I remember during the pandemic, it was huge, those Clorox wipes and the generic ones like them. If you look at the back of some of those containers, not all of them, but some of them say that it must be wiped off with a wet washcloth before use of the table or desk or whatever it is that you're wiping it with. And most people don't do that. I don't think anybody does that. Nobody knows that it says that. But if you wipe off your kitchen counter and you think it's clean, or they wipe off the kids' lunch table and then the kids set their lunch right down on the table, because we know how kids are, they won't put something under it. They are eating those toxic chemicals. Those kids are touching the tables in school and licking their fingers. They are eating those toxic chemicals because nobody wipes those Clorox wipes off of the table after they use them. Nobody wipes off the chemicals that were left on the table. And so those kinds of things are really important and it all adds up. Just think about it like that. Think of it like a bucket, and we're filling that bucket with all of the stressors in our life, with the foods we're eating, our allergies, the allergies to the pollen, the allergies to the foods that we're eating, are already, genetic predispositions that we have in our lives. And then you're throwing on top of that the toxins from all the products we use and the air that we breathe, and your bucket overflows. That's when you get SIRS. That's when you get other autoimmune diseases. That's sometimes when your kids are autistic, when they have like very mild autism, or even nonverbal. Even kids with nonverbal autism people have seen a difference when they just change some things that they're doing, things that they're eating, the products that they're using, all of those things, all of those inflammatory issues, you start to go away. You reduce what's in your bucket to the point where your bucket isn't overflowing anymore. And you might feel a lot better, and your kids might feel a lot better. So those things are so important. And people just use a constant stream of toxic things, and then they are constantly eating toxins. I mean, there's only so much your body can do to filter all that out and stay well. And so I just think it's so important to remember those things. It just breaks my heart that everybody is so sick these days. And it has to be something that we're doing. It has to be.
It breaks my heart to see these problems magnifying. So I have this issue, and so do a lot of people my age, but when we were kids, that wasn't really there. And so now so many of us have been sick, but now we look at our kids and maybe there was, let's say, 1 in 200. I made this number up and I'm sorry. I hope this doesn't offend anybody. 1 in 200 people my age had autism, let's say, when we were growing up, but we didn't really know because it was usually a pretty mild case. Now, I mean, I have 2 kids who the doctor used that word with. And my sister has one, and my friend has, and my friend, and my other friend, and my other. And now, if it certainly feels like 1 in 4, I don't know what it really is. But now, my very, very heartbreaking concern is, what about their kids? I think we're going to be at 100%. What I'm concerned about is the magnifying effect. When I was growing up, I'm not denying that it didn't exist, that autism didn't exist. Maybe it was 1 in 200 kids. I don't know. And it felt like if they did have it, it was more of a lighter case. Where now, I have 2 kids that people would use that word with. My sister has one. My friends have them. It feels today like 1 in 4. And what I'm concerned about is that our kids are going to have a 100% rate. That's what I'm concerned about, because it's magnified so quickly. So I hope that people will start taking this toxin thing. And it feels like an ocean, and we have a spoon and we're trying to dig ourselves out. That's what it feels like. But I think at some point we're all going to have to wake up and say, we got to do something about these toxins.
And while we're talking about sick people, let's just really briefly mention that it was recently said that if we were to have a draft because of a war, something like 60%, it might have been more than that, 60% of young Americans are not fit enough to be drafted. Like, if we were in a war, we are in trouble. So just makes you wonder, was this the plan all along by somebody else, by somebody in a different country? Just think about that for a minute, that if we were to go to war, we don't have enough people to fight it for us. For the first time ever, we don't have enough people because so many of the young adults are sick. So many of the young adults are not in shape. They are overweight. They have diabetes. We couldn't fight a war today. And that's scary. Like, we don't have enough people. We don't have enough adults to help for an army. We don't have enough. And that's really scary. That's a lot of people that are unhealthy.
I've been down a rabbit hole I can't believe I'm in, and I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I'm in a rabbit hole. They were talking about how 7 in 10 people are overweight or obese in America, but yet we individually are sitting here blaming ourselves. And we do have now that, not everybody knows about carnivore or ketovore, but if they did, then that would be a different story. But they're sitting there blaming themselves. Why can't I moderate this food? It's a me problem. Well, if there was a class and one kid's failing, like it was in, like, let's say the 1970s, 1980s, we would say, oh, that person, they've got some kind of problem. But if it's 7 out of 10 students, we would say we've got a classroom problem. Right? Here we are blaming our individual selves, saying, why can't we moderate? Why can't we moderate? Why are we so gluttonous?
Yep. So you're talking about a classroom with 30 kids where 21 of them can't pass it. This is, and we're not talking about class here. We're not talking about school. We're talking about health of Americans. And that's just really sad. This has been the worst failed science experiment probably in human history. The food that we're eating, the processed foods, the ultra processed foods, the seed and vegetable oils. This is the food pyramid. This has been like the worst failed science experiment ever. And we can fix it. We can fix it. I saw Callie Means the other day said there could be, in the stroke of a pen, one executive order from the president, one order would take away all the conflicts of interest for the people on the USDA and the people who make up the dietary guidelines. Because I think you saw the same video I did. It's like 96% of them, of the people that make up our dietary guidelines, have ties to pharmaceutical and food companies. They make money. The more of the junk, the more of the bread, the more of the Pop-Tarts, the more of the ding dongs and the ho-hos, the more of those things that we buy in America, the more money the people who write our US dietary guidelines make. You want to talk about having a conflict of interest. They are getting rich while we get sick. You know what I mean? Like, that is crazy. That is crazy to me that that's allowed. But Callie Means said the stroke of a pen, it would take 10 seconds for that to be undone. And for all the people on the US Dietary Guidelines Committee to only be people that are completely impartial. Like, you guys should be scared about our nutritional guidelines. You should be very afraid. One of the women on the dietary guidelines, Fatima Stanford, is the doctor who, she's got ties to all kinds of companies. And she says that obesity is genetic, that regardless of exercise, diet, and sleep, if it's genetic, you can't fix it. Guess one of the companies she's tied for has one of those shots that helps you lose weight. So she thinks as young as 6 years old, if people are overweight or pre-diabetic or diabetic, they should be on one of those shots. And those shots, a lot of times, not always, there are other ways to do it, but a lot of times people are on those drugs for the rest of their life. If people take it to lose weight, and especially starting as a kid, if we don't teach people the proper way to eat, as soon as they go off of those drugs, they're going to be hungry again. Because what happens is people just eat less of the same foods. They eat less of the McDonald's because they're full. They stop your stomach from emptying so quickly. So it makes you not hungry. That's why you don't eat. But then what happens is if you're not learning how to eat properly and training yourself to eat better, healthier foods and get off of the processed foods and get off of the seed oils and get off of the sugar, when your appetite comes back, when you go off of it, you just go back to eating the way you used to eat. And then you're in the predicament where you're saying, well, that didn't work for me because as soon as I stopped doing it, I gained all my weight back. That's because if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. So if you go back to eating the way you were eating before, guess what? You're going to go back to the way you were before. Don't blame it on the drug, blame it on the food, and blame it on yourself. But just in general, I think that Callie Means is onto something with talking about the dietary guidelines and all of those kinds of things. We should be scared as a community, as humans in America and in so many other countries. We should be scared of the way we do it here, though. In particular, some of the other countries, the foods that you get, like the Kraft macaroni and cheese and some of the candies and the sodas, they don't have the same ingredients they have in America. And most people don't know that. The ingredients are different because those countries care about their people. Those countries don't make a fortune. The insurance companies don't make a fortune. The hospitals don't make a fortune when somebody is sick. So they are more careful with what they let the people in their country eat because they don't want them to get sick. They don't want people to have cancer. Other countries have way lower cancer rates than us too. It's because we're eating garbage and we're using toxic chemicals and toxic products all day long. Your body can only do so much there. And so I think we need to start looking at those things. And I think more people need to come forward and talk about those toxins and the ingredients and things like that, because it's scary. I mean, what's going on right now is scary. Our kids almost don't have a chance at this point.
We got flies. I think that it's going to have to be a combination of both. I think that because of the toxicness, our bodies have become depleted and dysfunctional. Now, the verdict's out. If there's a way to heal it, I'm going to figure it out because I don't ever want to be on drugs for the rest of my life. But
Right.
my life has completely changed since having bioidentical progesterone and some T3 thyroid hormone. It's been life-changing. If I can get off of it, I'm going to do it. Like I think that we're going to have to, as a society, learn to eat better and hope that that pays forward in our future generations. But in the meantime, I'm starting to wonder if there's a chance that it's not healable in one generation. But if I do believe God can heal all things, so I'm not giving
Yeah.
up on healing. I'm not,
Right.
and
Right.
we're gonna
But
keep
also,
going.
but think about the people that you and I know in the carnivore community that have had tremendous healing in six
Mhm.
months, 8 months, a year,
Sometimes it
3 years,
takes
5 years.
5 years, sometimes it takes
Yeah.
time, sometimes the damage is just,
Yep.
it's taken a lifetime. It took me 40 years to find this, and my
Yes.
healing hasn't happened in 18 months, but I believe
Right.
I know other people who are 5 years down the road, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't deal with any of that stuff anymore. My gut realigned, and that reduced
Yeah.
my inflammation, and that helped my, immune system, and that helped my brain come down, and that helped my gut flora," and so
Hmm.
on and so on and so on, and they're a lot better.
Yeah.
So, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see, and keep on going. But the number one thing that just can't is a non-negotiable, as Tina Moore would say, is you got to lift heavy things and you got to
Hmm.
eat protein. You got to eat
Yeah.
animal protein. You got to lift heavy things.
I
So,
agree.
speaking of, because we only have a couple minutes left, I'd like to
Okay.
switch really quick to just a general update of how are you doing with your goals, and do you have anything upcoming that you're working on?
Okay. So my goals, I'm actually currently starting fasting for just a few days. I'm only 7 pounds from my goal. So close again. And I would really like to get there. And then I'd like to stay there this time within 2 or 3 pounds. But then part of me is like, well, how important is that? If I'm building muscle, couldn't I just be the weight I am as long as my clothes still fit, whatever. But the sardines are a tool that I have in my toolbox, and I feel like using them this week to get a few of those pounds off and maybe get into a few things, that I haven't been able to wear yet this summer before the weather cools off. So those are my goals for me. I'd like for the tallow business to keep growing. I'd like for my YouTube channel to keep growing. I'd like to keep spreading the word about carnivore and toxins and just help people in any way that I can. I've really enjoyed getting to know the people that I've gotten to know, and being part of this community has been amazing. And so, yeah, so my goals are just to keep things moving and keep helping people. And what I'm working on is helping with meat stock a little bit. We didn't get to talk about that yet. So let's do that real quick. And then I want to hear about your goals and stuff. So Meat Stock Super Fast is a convention along with a cabin retreat. So some people will be staying in cabins all together, and some people will be staying in hotels and just attending the convention, which I believe is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is happening towards the end of May next year, sometime in May. I can't remember the exact dates now, but it's in May of next year, and it's going to be super fun. There are probably 25 names that you'll recognize from the carnivore community and from the health community that are going to be there doing speeches. There's going to be booths. It's literally going to be like a mini convention. So the two cabins are up on top of a hill or a mountain. And in the middle, there's kind of a small convention center where we'll be doing the presentations, and there'll be people selling things. There'll be booths set up for information. And then there will be meals too. So you can do that part of it, or you can opt out of that part of it. But it's super fun, and you get to just like hang out with all these people. So I just think we need to remember, for people who can't afford the cabin part of it, because it's a little bit steep, but it's amazing and it's super fun. So you should definitely do that if you can, to be able to hang out with everybody. But also you could do a hotel room, and there are people who are getting together and booking rooms together to save money. And then they're still going to be able to come to the convention all 3 days and still be able to hang out with all of the people that are going to be there. So I really recommend the retreat ticket, because that's amazing. You wake up with all these people, you go to bed in between meals, people go for walks, and it's like being at a health retreat. It's just amazing. And so I highly recommend the cabin part. But if you can't do that, please come to the convention. The convention tickets are available. There's quite a few of those left, I think. And so make sure that you do one of the two. I just think it's going to be an awesome opportunity for people. Okay, so what about your goals and stuff?
Sorry, it's fly season over here. Okay,
Yeah.
super quick, so I gotta let my babysitter go.
Okay.
So, last spring I had done the lion diet, and it felt
Mhm.
so amazing, and I was doing
Yeah.
so good. I was slaying my goals. I even bought one size smaller clothes because I was like, "This is the ticket. I got this." ain't no autoimmune disease going to get me down. I got this. And then about 35 days in, I got slammed with 14 pounds of weight gain in 3 days. And so my body just said, listen, this isn't what we're doing right now. Like, we're
Yeah.
not okay with this. You really need to focus on healing. And so I took a step back from tracking. I took a step back from, pushing. I slowed down some of my movement, just kind of,
Mhm.
and then went to my doctor. We ran tests. We found my thyroid was in the tank. Um, my hormones were in the tank. And then we tested the house and the place that we had moved into. It turns out it has black mold. I don't know if it's from the air conditioner. It's a beautiful place. It makes no sense. It has no smell or anything, but it does have black mold, and so it tanked my hormones. So it just goes to show that sometimes you can't carnivore harder, and that sometimes it isn't all about me, push, 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 push. You can't push something that your body doesn't want and can't have. And so I've taken a step back. Unfortunately, those 14 pounds never came off. And then when we started thyroid medicine, we started low and slow. And
Mhm.
it actually was making me fall asleep, and it made me gain 5 more pounds. So now I have 19 pounds to get off. So low and slow, now that I have energy, I feel like my cycle's back. I feel like I'm a new human being. I'm not cringy all the time. I'm just a new person. So now I feel like, okay, let's play around with a little bit of calorie deficit. I joined Maria Emmerich's September challenge. I'm going to try a little bit of PSMF, get back into my movement, and just slow and slow start attacking these 19 pounds. Because prior to this, I had maintained, even being sick, I had maintained a 45-pound weight loss. Sometimes it was 48. And then sometimes it was 38, but I was kind of in the same 10-pound range. And now I'm 9 pounds over that. So, but I've done a lot of healing, a lot of
Right.
resting. And I also think this is life. I stuck to eating meat. I just stopped tracking and stopped
Right.
restricting so much down to just a couple foods. This is
Mhm.
also a great opportunity to really work on my mind around food. Like instead of thinking, food, even healthy foods are bad. Just that, as long as I'm eating these nutrient dense foods, let's just fill myself, nourish myself, let my body trust itself. Another thing we recently did is the two kids that have been struggling, they definitely have brain inflammation. And so we went to a service provider in Florida over summer vacation, Dr. Alan Grunning. He's amazing. I highly recommend him to anybody who can have him. And we've been running some blood work, and we're starting them on some protocol to hopefully reduce some brain inflammation, make them feel better, they've got some brain fog, they've got some behavioral stuff. And so I'm really excited to hopefully share with you all that we can heal our kids. And sometimes, unfortunately, it takes a little bit more than diet change, but diet change is important too. So
Mhm.
that's what we got going on here.
That's awesome. I can't wait to find out how that works and just kind of follow you for that journey and see, because so many people just put their kids on, ADHD meds or whatever instead of fixing diets. But you're right, diet isn't always enough. Sometimes you got to get some of that extra stuff out too.
I believe they have my genetics, and so they're not a good detoxer. I do have to say, even gaining this weight, what makes carnivore different is that I never was like, screw it, I'm just going to be standard American now.
Yeah,
No, I kept eating meat. I just probably had too much dairy.
same.
And so I still love the way we eat. And the other thing is, even putting on maybe a few pounds, I still am eating things that are nourishing me and healing me. So
Mhm.
the path wasn't just backwards, it was still forwards.
Yes,
And so I
that's
still
right.
feel good about it. And I'm excited, I guess, for the first time in a while to give a calorie deficit a try. Even
Yeah,
when I was doing lion diet, I wasn't at much of a deficit because I was concerned about my thyroid. And so for my
right.
thyroid and my hormones to just go, whoa, 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 wait, was
Yeah,
very shocking that
yeah.
it was like, nope, I want fish. I want a little bit of dairy. I want some chicken. My body wanted all the
Right.
things. So,
Yeah, your body
well,
knows what it needs.
Serena, this was so much fun. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I think we got it. We covered a lot. If we missed something, we'll do another one.
Awesome. I would love to do this again because this is so much fun. So thank you everybody for tuning in. This is again going to be on both of our channels. Please come subscribe and like and share with everyone. And thanks for hanging out with us today. Bye.
Bye.